Wonder when somebody's going to come up and fix that street lamp. Well, finally, the snow's got up enough that I can safely ride this trail. But the question is, am I going to feel comfortable riding this to work? And the answer is, I'm going to have to get used to it. I made the investment in this thing. But it really feels different. Riding a bicycle feels tight. Riding a tricycle feels loose. Not that the machine's loose, but that the relationship between man and machine isn't as tight and intimate as it is with a bicycle. That's something I wasn't really expecting, was how much it feels like I'm part of the machine is not part of me. With a bicycle, you very much feel that you and the machine are one. I'm not as terrified of this machine as I was the first machine that I got. And it's interesting, the first machine that I got, the one that I sent back, had a straight axle on the back. And so my natural inclination was to counterbalance against turns. So as I was turning, my natural inclination was to lean out of the turn, and that turned out to be correct for a tricycle that has a solid axle as opposed to a differential. This one has a differential, and my instinct is to lean into the turns like I would with a bicycle. And that also turns out to be correct for tricycles that have a differential. So it's interesting that even though I don't feel like I'm one with the machine, my body is certainly picking up cues from it on things to do, ways to interact with the machine. I'm on pedal assist 5, but the gears are not properly aligned, so I'm in 6th gear. I'm trying to get into 7th. I can feel it trying to get into 7th, but it can't, so I'm going to have somebody adjust the gear shift. So until that happens, 10 to 12 miles an hour is about the best I can do while pedaling. Now I can ride with the throttle, which is a much more stable feeling. When I'm using the throttle, I feel much more like I'm one with the machine, and that's because I'm not getting the rocking motion that comes with pedaling. But while I'm pedaling the machine, my body is rocking, and it's causing the machine to rock a little bit back and forth, so it doesn't feel as secure. So in places where I don't really necessarily feel safe, like I feel perfectly safe on this trail here, this is the Riverside Promenade. But in places where I really don't feel safe, like say, for instance, crossing an intersection, using the throttle would be a good idea, because it feels more stable, gives me more speed, and gives me more of a sense of being one with the machine. And I'm going to have to cross this street right here now to get to where I'm going. So what I'm doing is I'm testing out my commute, and I can't really see very well, so I'm going to have to get up here, get into this intersection and turn and just cross the street, have my entire body turn so I can see what's coming. I'm going to use the throttle here. Okay, now I'm just going to coast for a little bit. I need to go over to this side. However, this side of the street is tilted for drainage, and I can definitely feel the tilt while I'm riding it. And it feels even worse when I try to pedal. I'm having to lean the top part of my body away from the tilt. And so the bottom part of my body is actually aligned with, from my hips down, it's aligned with the tricycle. From above my hips up, I'm tilted so that I'm upright. Okay. There's a little homage in this intersection. A few months ago, a teacher was driving her car and got hit by a bus, and I happened upon the scene before the first responders got there. I was down at this intersection, and I saw that the car was on fire, so I avoided the intersection. I could hear the sirens of the first responders as I was moving on down 16th Street. That little shrine to her, to where she died, has been there for about 4 or 5 months now. Okay, I'm going to hit the throttle and get across this intersection. Okay, now I'm going 16 miles an hour, 17. It feels like I'm just flying. But actually, this is about the speed that I always go on the bicycle. And I feel perfectly comfortable right now because the tricycle is not rocking back and forth with the motion of my pedaling it. Alright. Coming up on another intersection. I turn on my signal light. Oh, there's some bikers. Alright. Turn my signal light off. Now, this is the thing that I've been worrying about right here, getting up onto this trail. This little dirt path. I'm going to just take it slow. That's not bad at all. Okay. I was worried about that because that's tilted a little bit. Alright, now I got to take this trail kind of slow. This trail is very dippy. And I can feel the whole machine flexing underneath me as different tires go over different dips at different times. The whole machine is just flexing under me. It's actually, oddly, not as rough as when I take the bicycle over this. But part of that is because I'm taking this really slow. One thing about my commute, it takes about 20 minutes on the bicycle. I'm betting it's going to take more like 30 minutes on the trike. And I can tell I'm not going to be able to pedal the way that I pedal. You know, when I'm on the bicycle, I pedal pretty much continuously. With the tricycle, I have to break it up. But I'm going to go and see what this crossing is like. Alright. There is the Fall Creek down there, this little bridge over Fall Creek. And that's the new bridge over there over Fall Creek. And that's actually a new street as well, but the trail runs on it as well. Now the trail that I'm used to taking follows the White River, and so I'm actually going west. That trail will actually go east toward downtown, so it'll be a shorter trail and it'll be a safer crossing. I'm really looking forward to that opening. I don't know when it's going to open though. Okay. Now, well, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of traffic on 10th Street. Just because I'm not pedaling continuously doesn't mean that I'm not getting a lot of exercise. I am getting a lot of exercise on this thing, particularly because my body isn't used to it. Okay, so I don't want to cross here that's going to be rough. I don't want to cross here until there's just no traffic coming. Okay. Oh, that's rough. Alright. Now I can cross here. And what I'm doing is I'm riding in a no-car zone. The bicyclists do this, where we spend as little time on that part of the road that can be accessed by a car. This lane is not designed for a car. And so, while it's not really designed for bicyclists either, we use it. And now I can see all of that coming up. Might be a good idea for me to turn on my headlamp. There, now it's on. Okay, doesn't look like anybody's coming. I'm going to use the throttle to get up here. Look at all that snow and ice. It's going to take a good serious rain to get rid of that. That was all over the place about 2 days ago, which is why this is only the second ride outside of my immediate neighborhood that I've done with this thing. Well, it sure makes a lot of noise, doesn't it? I don't know what's banging back there, but I suspect it's the seat. There's no way they're going to hear that horn. Maybe they'll hear the bell. I hear the thing rattling. Alright, now I've actually got this light, so I'm going to go ahead and take it. Now, that's a pretty dog. I commute with this thing tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to being able to 15 miles an hour, and I'm pedaling to get up to 17. That's pretty good. And now I'm going to coast here, slow down a little bit because I got a rough transition onto another surface. I'll get up to West Street. I'm not going to cross West Street though. I just want to get a feel for all these transitions like that one. I just have to remember to take those transitions slow, and I'll have to constantly remind myself that while I may feel more comfortable with the machine, I still have to take these transitions really slow. Just going to ride through the park here. Sentinel 3. Okay. Well, I like the idea of this sunshade that is on this helmet, but it's kind of bad. Okay. I brought a camera, but I didn't bring a tripod. Howdy. So I'm just going to have to get inventive. Do a stand from here. Turn the engine off. Alright, so what I'm proposing to do is a series on all of the bicycle trails in Indianapolis that can be accessed with the Type 2 electric bicycle, in this case a Type 2 electric three-wheel bicycle. So, be looking for on this channel a series about Indianapolis trails. Now for the trail back home. Now let's see if I can take this with three wheels. It's going to be a bit of a trick. Oh, getting back up on the trail is going to be a real trick. If you want to get down here, there's this ramp right here. I'm going to wait until everybody gets off it. I'm going to try to get up that way. Don't you wish you could get as excited about going down the trail as he did? I don't even know if I can do this. It can be done. There's enough room here for me to turn. Just barely. There we go. What do you know? Content creator. Takes one to know one. hopefully I've got a drone now. I need to learn how to use it. That's going to become a couple of videos in and of itself. It's just me learning how to use a drone. And gradually, all of this will come together. So I'll get some drone footage of me riding. I'll be able to set the drone to follow me on some of the trails. I'll get more Steadicam setups as I get used to it and the weather gets better. Then I'll start throwing an instrument in here. It just seems to take so long. The guy in the car is getting impatient too. Alright. Our time has come. It'll be a little while before all those mountains of snow and ice get up. Uh-oh. Something's jumped. I feel something riding on my butt. What has happened, I think, is that the seat has jumped out of its groove. Yep. This is what's making all the noise. So, let's lock it into place using its own seat belt. There. That ought to keep that from bouncing around. You heard all the noise this thing's been making, and it's been this seat, which converts by flipping up here and landing back on these to make this into a rickshaw. And this thing's just been bouncing around. So I just took the seat belt, wrapped it around here, and the seat belt is a locking seat belt, so now it's kind of locked. That ought to keep it from moving around on me. Alright, let's try this again and see, maybe, possibly, if with it locked down like that, it makes less noise. Not a whole lot left, but I don't think it's going to jump out of its groove and hit me in the butt again. A couple of bicycle officers. I haven't seen them in a while, but they ride the trails. And occasionally, you'll see a police motorcycle or a police car down these trails. They also have some mounted police on horseback here in Indianapolis. I haven't seen those in a very long time, so I don't know if they still got them. Had them when I moved here, back around the turn of the century. Okay, there is nobody coming, so I can go. And see, this 10th Street crossing here is much safer when I'm coming back home, heading north. When I'm going south and I can't see what's behind me, or rather I can't see what's in front of me, it's a much more dangerous thing. Now, here, I can take my time, wait for traffic to pass, so I can take this very slowly, get back up on the trail here. Because this is a rough transition right here. Actually, I think this is probably safer on the tricycle than it is on the bicycle. Because with the bicycle, I can't move that slow. And so I'm coming up over those rough transitions, and at the same time having to turn. Now, this trail doesn't look rough, but it really tilts a lot. And it changes aspect a lot. I think they repave it fairly often, probably because it gets used a lot. I'll be looking forward to using that trail over there as soon as it opens. Definitely looking forward to that trail opening up over there. There's going to be a different, I've scattered it out a little bit. There's going to be a different crossing, and it'll cross that bridge.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a trail that they've been building for several years.
Yeah.
That heads off east and heads off east.
This part of town, so I was trying to just come and see what was over here.
Yeah. Well, this is the White River Trail. It just continues on around and eventually marries up with the White River. Cool. But you can jump off of it at a certain point and cross 16th Street at a light, which is much safer than trying to cross 16th Street on the trail.
Yes. Okay. So close this way for now. It looks like. So
yeah.
Okay. Cool. Nice. That'll work. I like your bike.
Thank you. Okay, about 14, 15 miles an hour. It's about as fast as I can safely go here. Okay, now, it felt fairly safe coming up this thing, but it's always more dangerous going down an incline than coming up it. So now let's see how it feels going down this incline. I'm just going to coast. First of all, I gotta make sure there's no traffic. Oh boy. Just that first step there feels a little tilty. Alright, now. Alright, now that I'm on the street, I'm going to use the throttle while I'm on the street. I wonder why it's not throttling. Well, it's giving me an error code. Now it's throttling. I just had to pump it a little bit to get the throttle initiated, apparently. It does feel like that back there has jumped up out of its groove again, despite my rigged effort to lock it in with a seatbelt. I'll look at it here in a minute. See if there's another way I can lock that thing down. As bumpy as the trails are that I'm going to go over, that thing's going to jump out. Need to get used to using the turn signal on this thing. there it is. For some odd reason, the motor wasn't kicking in. Now I got it kicked in. Okay. That's odd. Doing a speed test now. There it is, 20 miles an hour with the throttle. 21. And I am speeding. There's a governor built into the system to keep this bike from going more than 20 miles an hour. As a result of either pedal assist or using the throttle. And it doesn't really seem to like the transition between the two. There we go. Now, the faster I pedal, the less I feel the tilt. Oh, but I have to stop pedaling to go into curves like this. It still felt pretty sturdy. Just doesn't seem to want to put the pedal assist back on. It's kind of odd, but it's definitely something to be aware of. Is that there seems to be a disconnect where it doesn't like to reconnect with the throttle or the pedal assist after it's been on a while. I'm getting an error code. So I have to wait for a minute for the error code to clear, and then I can use the pedal assist again. Considering that I use the pedal assist in bursts, that's not something that I really like. Now, let's have a look here. Somebody's got some doggies up there. I'm just going to push this in here. And we're going to get some eyes on this issue here. Go ahead and turn the power off. And dismount. Alright. See what's going on here. No, it didn't jump up. Yeah, I think having the seatbelt kind of tamps it down nicely. So I'll do that photography with my hand camera so you can see it better. There's somebody with some doggies. There's some woolly doggies. Doggies. There, see, it doesn't want to go back. It doesn't want to put the pedal assist back on for some reason. I have to brake a little bit longer. I can't just pause the way that I normally would bicycle. That's odd. And it also has that same shyness with the throttle. So I definitely have to understand why it's doing that. Understand how that works out. So, because when I hit that throttle, I need to know that the throttle's going to work. Because typically I'm hitting the throttle to get across an intersection. I wonder when they're going to get somebody out here and clean up this headlamp, at least get the glass up off the trail. Let me drive down there and scout out the other end of that particular trail. No, it's blocked with a curb, darn 'em. It's too bad. That could be a lot safer. Okay, I'm going to go in here and do a figure eight. I came in here and did a figure eight with the other tricycle, and I didn't like it at all. But with this tricycle, how does a figure eight feel? First of all, it's much tighter, a much tighter turn radius than the previous tricycle. And second of all, it doesn't feel uncomfortable at all. Whereas on the other tricycle, it felt like, horrible. Okay, let's see. Is there a safe way onto that trail from here? No, not really. No, unfortunately there is not. It ends in that curb right there. Alright. Now it seems like if I hit the throttle after I've been stopped with the brakes locked, that there is no problem. It understands that. It's when I've been riding for a little while and then I stop and I'm still coasting and then I pick back up that the pedal assist doesn't seem to want to work as well. Okay. Alright. That's much better. So I can use this thing to go to work. The one thing I really don't like about it is how low the handlebars are, because I'm just, really bent over these handlebars pretty good. I'd like to have them up about 4 inches. Alright, I'm going to set up a camera to look at me while I get into reverse.